Previously on the Land Doctors. Determined to create the ultimate stay-and-play property, landowners Steve and Kelly Owen have been working with the Land Doctors to create both a vision and a plan for the ranch. Hunting blinds, cameras, and feeders are already installed to help manage wildlife. House and barn plans have been finalized, but before any of that can start, Kelly has to build a mile-long driveway so construction traffic can reach the build site. With the road base already roughed in, cold winter weather stopped this project dead in its tracks. Now that the first layer of gravel base has been dropped, parts of the road are beginning to fail. Let's see what the Land Doctors can do about it.
I need the Oklahoma wind to run open through my veins. I need the Indian grass to cut right through these long and lonesome days homeward bound. I'm homeward bound. I hear the scissor tail calling me from the redbud trees. I hear the topwater roar in the still of the day as the bass enjoy their feast homeward bound. I'm homeward bound. Whoa, I recognize that front porch light from a mile away. Whoa, this is a place that for all my life I have longed to stay, where I want to stay.
Hi, I'm Kelly Hurt, and welcome to the world headquarters of the Land Doctors. Today we're heading about, my GPS says 32 miles southeast to Stratford, Oklahoma. Today we're going to be working on the Heavens View Ranch. We have a nice little road building project going. We've got to build about 5,000 feet of driveway. Now we've got our first base layer down, and most of it went pretty well. Probably 90% of the road is in great shape. But we've got about 10% that's somewhere between soft and an absolute swamp. So today we've got to dig out the mud holes and get ready for some 6-inch rock that we're going to lay in it first thing in the morning. So we're just going to cruise down the road here, get there as quickly as we can, get to work, and hopefully get done before dark, because the gravel trucks will be there at first light tomorrow. So let me tell you why this driveway is important. Besides the obvious of the family needs a driveway to get to the house, the bigger deal for me is making sure that we don't get a bunch of dump trucks and concrete trucks stuck while we're building this house. Because if we do, then it's up to me to get them unstuck, and I don't have a good way of doing that. So it's really important that I get these holes fixed so that I'm not out here trying to figure out how to drag concrete trucks, dump trucks, lumber trucks, and all that stuff through the mud. Once we get finished, with the construction, the road's really not going to be that big a deal. We'll be fine at that point because it'll just be a little bit of light truck traffic. But the big trucks during construction, that's the key. We've got to get past that. And hopefully today is the first step. The construction plans as of now include about a 3,800 square foot house. That's interior. If you count the porches, it's around 5,500 square feet. It's going to be 2-story, 26-foot tall cathedral ceilings, 10-foot tall ceilings and the rest of it. Really nice sort of log cabin type of feel and look to it. Big timbers, that sort of thing. So between hauling up all the metal, all the concrete, all of the timber, all of the lumber, all the siding, the metal roof and all that stuff, we're going to make a bunch of trips with some really heavy loads. you're way out in the country, you have to have really elaborate security systems to keep people from, you know, accessing your property when you're not around. You know, all these mean, crazy thieves out in the countryside have to wire stuff up. Now let's go look at the ranch. So I'm gonna drive you up the road now. And basically what I do is I just listen to the truck as I'm driving, because you can hear it lug down when we get in soft spots. And all those places I'm gonna put 3-inch rock. I'm just gonna put it on top and let the concrete trucks push it down. And then we'll look at the big mud holes that I've got to dig out. So let's head up the hill. So this red base that you see is a weathered granite gravel. It's a naturally occurring deposit in Johnston County, Oklahoma. And they just dig it up off the surface. It's a surface deposit, and it makes excellent road base. But you can see we've got some soft spots. You hear that? So all those are going to get an application of 3-inch. Now, these big ruts here, this is just a mess. I'm going to go ahead and put it in 4-wheel drive so I don't get stuck. But these dudes, we're going to have to do is put something that's got a little more surface area to it, like a big 6-inch rock. According to my truck, it's 4:45, which means we've got about an hour and 15 minutes to work. Doesn't seem like it'll be dark that soon, but the sun drops fast this time of year. What I'm going to do is I need to finish up one little drainage project, and I'm using an old antique one-bottom plow behind my Kubota to make the ditch with, and it's working great. And then after that, I'm going to switch to the box blade, and I'm going to dig out a couple of these holes, and we'll be ready for tomorrow. When you have a soft spot in your road, one of the best things you can do is to go ahead and excavate the area that's giving you problems. In this case, I used a box blade and the front bucket on my tractor to dig out the mud and the water out of the hole. Now once I've dug this back down to a solid base, we can drop the heavy rock on it and it'll tend to hold up better. And you know, a project like this gives you the perfect cover for playing in the mud like you did when you were a little boy. And as always, I'm going to get fussed at for getting my toys dirty, but hey, that's just part of the fun. There are a lot of different reasons to buy land, but in this case, the Owens family wanted a place where they could stay and play. Now, they purchased the land last summer, very late in the summer, actually it was early fall probably, and we didn't really have a lot of time to get much done. We were able to put up some box blinds, put out some feeders, explore the property a little bit. It's been a lot of fun. So this is sort of the culmination of the effort, is to get all of this put together so that the house can be built right here where we're sitting, and they can catch these sunsets in the future. And that will be happening very soon. The main thing holding us up now is me, and I've got to get this little road finished so that we can get the big trucks in here. So we've got the gravel coming in the morning. I've really done all I can do for right now, and we will just see how this whole thing goes, and hopefully we can get a good, solid, reliable road and move this project forward. With all that being said, we need to get on the road. I love the morning. I love getting an early start to the day. I love the sunrise, and I love watching nature come alive. But I really love it when I've had a decent night of sleep, and last night I just didn't get it. By the time we got in, we worked on the trailer, ate something, and got to bed, I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. So it seems like we just got here and we haven't been here long, about 9 hours. Going back already, just got a text message. It's 6:15 and I'm getting text messages. But got a text message that they're going to be an hour early with the gravel. So, let's see how long, if we can even be there in an hour. I think we can. 37 miles, so 40 miles. I've got 128 miles worth of gasoline. We don't have to stop, we can make it. We're just not gonna stop and eat breakfast this morning. So here we go, day 2. Let's get this stupid gravel road finished so that we can move on to something, anything else, and hopefully not have to talk about gravel roads anymore. The trucks are lined up and ready to go. You see this guy? The one that showed up first? The one with the white hair? He's the one with all the experience and the one that I trust. Now he and I, we have tried this before and we know where our weak links are. So we decide to send the young guy in first. Now do you see this guy? Bless his heart. He's the reason I didn't sleep last night. The last time we were here, he stayed stuck the entire time. Everybody else made it in and out. He seemed to want to go a different direction, march to the beat of his own drummer, and because of that, he tended to continually be stuck. So we're going to put him in first, closest to the road, so that we have the best chance of getting him back out and out of our way. This is a belly dump trailer, and this is the first day that I've ever used one. With a quick push of the lever, I was able to control exactly how much gravel was released, exactly where it was released, and effectively control the gravel so that I only put it where I needed it, on the soft spots. This is a very easy system to use. I merely walk along beside the truck looking for soft spots and drop in the gravel exactly where I want it. With our young, inexperienced driver safely back on his way to the county road, we can confidently move forward with the rest of the trailers. As the second truck comes in and lines up, we quickly start to unload the gravel. But before we finish unloading, my favorite driver gets out and gives me a few pointers. Well, I'm hitting the spots, I think.
You want what you want? Which one you want next?
6.
You want the belly or you want that end dump?
Well,
the end dump ain't gonna spread as good as that belly.
And while I've got him out of the truck, I decide to get him to look at the worst hole with me to make sure we can get the next truck through. And this won't be the last time today that we've got a driver worried about road conditions. Whew, that was easier than I thought. Hey, where you want to turn around?
Where you want me to turn around?
With the amount of rain that we've had recently, I'm surprised how much the road has dried out, but I'm happy to see it and I'm cautiously optimistic. With 2 loads of 3-inch gravel on the ground, now we're ready to put the first load of 6-inch gravel in our big mud hole. The moment of truth. Oh, that hole turned out not to be so bad after all. We put our first load of 6-inch in it. I can spread it out later. No big problem. Ah, but that was too easy. Let's do it in reverse now. We're not out of the woods yet. He's still got to back up into the mud hole, at the same time jackknife his trailer, and then dump his dump truck. I don't want him going back in that for any reason. 6-inch rock is really good for fixing soft spots in roads, and that's primarily because of its size. With greater surface area, the rock will tend to float in the mud. Over time, the mud and the rock solidify to create a wonderful road base. Now that they've dropped these large piles of 6-inch rock on the road, I've got to get them spread out so that these guys can get out of here and get back on the road. Six-inch rock is very difficult to move with a small tractor. So you just have to take your time, work through the big chunks, move them a little at a time, keep spreading it, and over time it'll start shaping up. One tip that I found that worked great was once I had the material basically moved where I wanted it, then I placed the bucket flat on the material to back drag it to force it all to lay out flat. Now, one of the issues that I had with this particular dump was that because he had to jackknife his trailer, part of the load wound up in the ditch instead of the roadbed. So I'm simply going over and grabbing the large rock, pulling it out of the ditch, and placing it in the roadbed. Now, all this driving back and forth gives me the opportunity to use my tires to push the rock down into the mud, into the soft base, and it also allows me to put the rock exactly where I want it so that I can fill all of the hole up. Now, once I've placed the gravel, then I can take the flat bottom of the front end loader bucket and I can back drag while putting pressure down, and that helps to push the rock down into the ground and keep it as flat as possible. Because you can tell by the size of this stuff, if it's sticking up, it's really rough to drive over. Now, this is my first road building job, so you'll have to excuse me if I'm a little overjoyed about getting something as simple as a mud hole fixed. But I am very, very happy to see this truck leaving without a bunch of mud sticking to it. And as the trucks start to drive out, now we have the proof in the pudding. With a 6-inch rock spread in the last of the rough spots, I'm relieved to see the trucks leaving. Now all I have to do is go spread the 3-inch rock. Compared to the 6-inch rock, moving the 3-inch material is a lot easier. In fact, it's a piece of cake. So I make short work of this, pulling the rock over each of the soft spots that I've identified, and I get ready to go home. I've had enough for one day. What is a land doctor? A land doctor is an individual who loves their country and cherishes their property. They take a deep pride and sense of accomplishment from working hard to protect and improve their land. They do the things that help their children and grandchildren enjoy a bright future with plentiful natural resources. Land doctors have the courage to self-educate and try new things while not being afraid to fail from time to time, knowing that failure can sometimes be the best educator. Whether it be designing a wastewater system in Costa Rica or exploring the caves of the Arbuckles, we've always been proud to pass on our experiences and knowledge in an effort to educate and inspire others. In short, a land doctor is an individual that cares about others and themselves enough to go out and work hard to improve the very thing that sustains us all, the land itself. We hope that sharing these experiences encourages you to join us on this journey. Well, thank goodness that's done. All the holes have been fixed. I'm ready for concrete trucks, so it's time to get out of here. See you next time on the Land Doctors.